Hi, my name is Liz and welcome to Bits of Information. Today I want to answer an interesting question. How much wheat does it take to buy chess? Okay, let's back up a little bit and see what's happening. One of the legends about the invention of chess was about an Indian philosopher, Sisa, who came up with this idea and then came to the emperor and said hey, this is the game that I came up with. Check it out. The emperor was so impressed and fascinated by the game that he said to the philosopher, "You can name your price. Anything you want, I'll give you." Caesar told him, "Okay, deal. I want you to pay me 1 grain of wheat for the first square of the chessboard, 2 grains for the second square, 4 grains for the third square, 8 grains for the fourth square, and so on, each time doubling the amount of grains per square. In this case, the last square would cost 2 to the power of 63 grains. The emperor probably was not very friendly with mathematics, so he said, "Sure, no problem." Sometime later, he found out that the philosopher was still not paid. He came to the treasury, or granary, and asked, "What's up? Why aren't you paying? We made a deal, you should pay up." And the people who work there said, "We're still counting. There's not enough wheat that we have to actually pay." So let's look at the problem and figure out how much wheat does it actually take to buy chess. So we have prices for each square, and the price for each square is 2 to the power of square number minus 1. 2 to the power of 0 equals 1, and the first square costs 1 grain. 2 to the power of 1 is 2, and this is the second square. But how do we sum all of this up? From 1 to 2 to the power of 63. Let's for a second imagine that we want to give our philosopher 1 more grain of wheat and write it down. Because, come on, what's 1 grain? Nothing. Okay, so let's write it down. Then we have 1 plus 1, this one's grain that we just give him, and the price for the first square. It equals 2. Then we take this 2 and add to that the price for the next square. We came up with 4. Then we add up the price for the next square. 4 plus 4 is 8. And 8 is 2 to the power of 3. So if we notice, each additional square doubles the amount of wheat we have. At this point, whichever square we're at, the sum of all previous square and this one is 2 to the power of the square. The sum of all the squares from first one to fifth one is 2 to the power of 5. From first one till 15th, 2 to the power of 15. And from first till last, to the 64th, is 2 to the power of 64. Okay, now we need to remember that we actually gave 1 more grain of wheat than we needed to, so the actual price is 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. Okay, so this is how much we're supposed to pay our philosopher who invented chess. But how much actually is it? And just in case, I have a notebook that says this number because I'm afraid of making a mistake here. Okay, so if we actually calculate, and if somebody is not lazy, you can do this. I believe in you. So, if we calculate how much this is, the number becomes this. It's huge! It's huge! So the way you read this huge number is 18 quintillion, 446 quadrillion, 744 trillion, 73 billion, 709 million, 551,615. Okay, so yeah, I read it. I feel proud of myself that I read it. So, that's a big number, but still it's we're looking at little grains. So maybe it's actually not that much wheat because they're so little. if we multiply this by the average weight of one wheat, we're gonna get around 1199 times 10 to the power of 9, which means you just add 9 zeros to 1199 metric tons. That's a huge amount. So if we get this amount and think about this amount in terms of how much wheat is in the world, right? So, because again, it's still a number. Does it mean anything? Who knows? If we bring this into context, it will turn out that the amount of wheat CISA actually wanted was about 1,535 times the amount of wheat produced in the whole world in 2019. Think about this, like for a second. Imagine 1,500 times the amount of world production of 2019. It means that if we keep producing wheat like we did in 2019, we need 1,535 years to pay up. And of course, back in the 5th or 6th century BC, in just India, the amount of wheat was dramatically less than we have right now in the whole world in 2019. So yeah, this is like a fancy tale about how much maths is important, so you don't get into a huge debt when you like chess. I hope you liked this video. I hope this was interesting information for you. It certainly was very fun filming it, although the cleanup after all the wheat grains was a nightmare, okay? But it still was really fun. So I hope you like it, and hope to see you again on my channel. Subscribe, like, and do all the fancy things. You can comment and ask questions, or I don't know, anything you want. Okay, so thanks for watching. Bye! See ya!